Welcome to episode 34 of your CYSA Plus Prepcast. In this session, we're focusing on static file inspection tools, essential resources for detecting, identifying, and understanding malicious software without the risk of execution. These tools form the core of safe malware analysis, helping analysts investigate files by reviewing their content, structure, and embedded artifacts. Static inspection enables defenders to identify threats early, correlate findings with other security systems, and contribute valuable intelligence to incident response workflows. Mastering these tools will not only prepare you for the CYSA Plus exam, but also equip you with real-world skills for safe and thorough threat investigation. Static file inspection refers to the process of analyzing files without executing them. This form of analysis is distinct from dynamic or behavioral inspection, which involves running the file in a controlled environment. With static inspection, analysts use tools to extract file characteristics, such as metadata, embedded code, cryptographic hashes, and readable strings. These attributes are then used to determine whether a file is malicious or benign. Static analysis is especially useful in early stages of investigation, when there's a need to verify suspicious attachments, scripts, or executables safely before execution occurs. One of the most popular and accessible static analysis tools is VirusTotal. This cloud-based service allows analysts to upload files, submit URLs, or search by cryptographic hash to check results across dozens of antivirus engines simultaneously. VirusTotal not only flags known malware, but also provides useful metadata, such as submission history, known malware family associations, and behavioral descriptions based on previous scans. Community communicated tags, Yara rule matches, and similarity scoring help analysts quickly identify malicious files and reduce false positives. On the CYSA Plus exam, you may be asked how VirusTotal assists in identifying known malware, or what indicators you can extract from its reports. Hashing is another critical concept in static analysis. Analysts generate cryptographic hashes like MD5, SHA-1 or SHA-256 from files to create unique fingerprints. These hashes are used to identify known malware in threat intelligence feeds, validate file integrity, or correlate files across investigations. For instance, if two emails contain attachments with matching SHA-256 hashes, they likely contain the same payload. Conversely, a file with a known malicious hash can trigger automatic quarantine in EDR systems or SIM platforms. Expect to encounter exam questions asking how hashing is used in malware identification, or how to validate hash matches across systems. Strings extraction is a technique that reveals readable text from binary or script-based files. Analysts use tools like the Unix strings utility to pull out ASCII or Unicode text, which may include hard-coded URLs, IP addresses, commands, attacker notes, or malware behavior descriptions. For example, a malware sample might include strings referencing codecs, PowerShell, or known domains used for exfiltration. Extracted strings offer immediate clues and help analysts develop Yara rules, validate malware family membership, or support deeper inspection. The exam may test your ability to identify the value of strings extraction in static file analysis. Hex editors are powerful tools used to inspect a file's raw hexadecimal content. Tools such as HXD or Hex Workshop let analysts view and modify the binary layout of files, revealing structures and data that other tools may miss. Analysts use hex editors to identify malformed headers, embedded payloads, encrypted sections, or steganographic content. For example, if a file claims to be a JPEG but has an executable header in its hex structure, it may be a disguised malicious binary. On the exam, you may be asked to recognize when a hex editor is needed, or how raw byte analysis aids threat identification. For Windows binaries specifically, portable executable analysis tools like pview, pstudio, and CFF Explorer are used to dissect .x and .dnl files. These tools allow analysts to examine the internal structure of an executable, including headers, imported functions, exported symbols, resources, and section properties. Analysts look for suspicious indicators such as packed sections, unusual import functions, or anomalies in file compilation timestamps. PE analysis also helps analysts understand how the file interacts with the operating system. CYSA plus scenarios may involve recognizing key characteristics of malicious PE files or choosing appropriate inspection tools. Metadata analysis is an easy but powerful step in static inspection. Analysts review embedded information such as creation timestamps, last modified dates, author names, version numbers, and digital signatures. Suspicious mismatches, such as an Office document claiming to be created months before the associated campaign began, may suggest tampering or forgery. Metadata is also valuable in phishing investigations, where attached files may share common traits that reveal attacker toolsets or reused templates. Expect exam questions that ask how metadata supports malware detection or what metadata anomalies indicate potential threats. PDFs are frequently used in phishing and social engineering attacks. Tools like PDFid and PDF Stream Dumper allow analysts to inspect PDFs for suspicious elements such as JavaScript, embedded files, launch actions, and encrypted objects. Analysts look for tags like /JS, /launch, or /embedded file that indicate active content within the document. Malicious PDFs may also contain obfuscated scripts that exploit software vulnerabilities to deliver payloads. Static PDF analysis allows analysts to identify these threats without opening the file. You may see exam questions related to PDF inspection or identifying malicious elements in document formats. Another critical tool in the analyst's static inspection toolkit is YARA. YARA allows analysts to define rules that identify files based on patterns, strings, or byte sequences. A YARA rule might match on a known malware function name, a suspicious import table, or the presence of specific encoded strings. These rules are used both in offline scanning of file repositories and in live monitoring systems. Analysts use open-source YARA repositories or write their own rules to track evolving threats. CYSA plus questions may involve understanding the structure of a YARA rule or its use in identifying malware variants. Finally, static inspection also plays a role in identifying obfuscation. Malicious actors often use packing, encryption, or encoding to hide the true intent of their files. Analysts recognize signs such as high file entropy, uncommon file extensions, or suspiciously short import tables. Tools that calculate file entropy or unpack obfuscated binaries allow analysts to focus their attention on the files most likely to contain threats. You may be asked on the exam how obfuscation interferes with analysis or how analysts detect and mitigate packed or disguised files. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are more security courses on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Having established the foundational tools and techniques for static file inspection, we now shift focus to more advanced capabilities, real-world applications, and integration strategies. These areas are critical not only for deeper forensic understanding, but also for translating analysis into actionable outcomes across your security operations environment. In this second half, we'll explore how static inspection findings feed into threat intelligence platforms, how analysts detect obfuscation and encryption within files, and how this analysis supports broader threat hunting, incident response, and compliance. These applied insights are directly relevant to the CYSA Plus exam and will significantly strengthen your investigation skills in operational roles. YARA remains one of the most powerful resources in the Static Analyst Toolkit. While we introduce the concept of YARA rules in the first half of this episode, it's important to understand how analysts build and deploy custom rules to detect known malware or suspicious behaviors. A well-constructed YARA rule includes a combination of string matches, byte sequences, and condition statements that precisely identify files of interest. For example, analysts may define a rule that triggers when a file contains a unique function name, an uncommon combination of imported APIs, and a high entropy score. These rules are not only useful for malware detection, but also for classifying samples by malware family, campaign, or actor. Expect to see CYSA Plus exam questions that include snippets of YARA rules or require identification of when and where YARA should be used. Once static analysis is complete, the findings are often integrated into broader detection platforms. This includes exporting indicators of compromise such as file hashes, suspicious strings, or specific code fragments into SIM platforms, EDR systems, or threat intelligence feeds. For instance, a suspicious attachment analyzed using PDF tools may yield a hash that can be monitored across endpoints or email gateways, or a decoded command string can be turned into a detection rule for IDS systems. Analysts must understand how to transition from isolated file analysis to enterprise-wide monitoring. The exam may present scenarios requiring integration of static analysis results into detection infrastructure or suggest follow-up actions based on tool output. Obfuscation is a recurring challenge in static analysis. Malware developers routinely use techniques like packing, string encoding, macro obfuscation, and control flow flattening to conceal malicious intent. Analysts are trained to recognize common patterns such as base 64 encoded blobs, long strings of random characters, or uncommon executable headers. They also rely on unpacking utilities, deobfuscation scripts, or analysis plugins to remove layers of encoding. Tools such as UPEX unpackers, D4.dot, or Python-based decoders play a role in restoring files to a readable state. CYSA Plus questions may require you to identify signs of obfuscation or recommend steps to analyze an obfuscated script or binary. Another analytical technique involves file entropy analysis. Entropy refers to the level of randomness in a file or section of a file. Legitimate programs often have predictable entropy levels, while packed, encrypted, or obfuscated files tend to display higher entropy due to the lack of readable content. Tools like bintext, PE Studio, or dedicated entropy analyzers can calculate entropy across entire files or individual sections. Analysts use entropy scores to prioritize which files warrant deeper review. For example, a file with encrypted sections embedded within a benign-looking document could indicate malware hidden within a phishing attachment. You may be tested on how entropy analysis supports malware detection, or which scores indicate a packed or encrypted file. Signature-based scanning is still a valuable part of the static analysis workflow, especially when paired with behavior-based detection. Analysts use tools like ClaimAV or commercial antivirus engines to scan files for known signatures. While not sufficient alone, signature-based analysis provides fast identification of known threats, malware variants, or reused code snippets. Scanners may also tag files with heuristic indicators, offering a confidence score or behavioral category. Static scanning tools are particularly useful when analyzing large volumes of files or conducting triage during incident response. The CYSA Plus exam may ask how to balance signature detection with deeper inspection, or when heuristic results should trigger further analysis. As mobile threats continue to rise, static analysis must also encompass mobile applications. Analysts use tools like APK Tool, MobCef, and MobCef and DemoPack, the Inspect Android application packages. These tools enable analysts to extract manifest files, decompile code, and review permissions or hard-coded endpoints. For example, an APK that silently installs additional apps or communicates with remote IPs without user interaction may exhibit malicious behavior. IO analysis is more complex due to encryption and sandboxing, but analysts still inspect metadata, provisioning profiles, and application behavior where possible. The exam may touch on mobile malware analysis techniques or recognize static indicators of risk in mobile packages. Documentation is a vital step in the analysis process. Analysts record their methodology, tool output, indicator discoveries, file relationships, and investigative conclusions in structured reports. These reports support compliance requirements, enable peer review, and serve as references for future threat research. They also ensure that detection rules or response strategies are aligned with real indicators. Analysts must document what tools were used, which findings were confirmed, and how the results informed decision-making. Expect exam questions that require you to identify which elements should be included in a static file inspection report, or how documentation supports collaborative defense. Static file inspection is rarely an isolated activity. Analysts work closely with other roles in the security team. Threat hunters may use hash values and decoded strings to expand investigations. Incident responders may act on indicators produced during static analysis to isolate affected systems or users. Security engineers may use inspection results to tune detection rules or adjust email filters. This collaboration ensures that file-based threats are contained quickly and that their technical characteristics inform broader defensive measures. The exam may ask how static inspection fits into a wider response workflow or what teams benefit from shared analysis findings. To stay effective, analysts must continuously train and evolve their static analysis skills. This includes practicing on malware samples in safe environments, staying up to date with new obfuscation methods, and learning how to use newly released tools. Analysts also review threat intelligence blogs, follow malware researchers, and experiment with emerging inspection techniques. Many participate in capture the flag challenges or malware reverse engineering forums. On the exam, you may be asked how ongoing training contributes to effective static analysis, or what resources support professional development in malware investigation. To conclude, Episode 34, Static File Inspection Tools enable cybersecurity analysts to detect and understand malicious files without exposing systems to risk. From tools like VirusTotal and PE Studio to techniques like strings extraction, hex analysis, Yara rule creation, and entropy scoring, these methods provide deep insight into file behavior and origin. When combined with documentation, collaboration, and continuous learning, static inspection becomes a powerful capability that supports detection, investigation, and long-term defense. Prepare for the CYSA Plus exam by reviewing tool output formats, learning common file structures, and understanding how static findings support broader security operation. Thanks for listening. To learn more about cybersecurity, please visit baremetalcyber.com. There you will find best-selling books, videos, and even more free cybersecurity training courses. Please subscribe to the Prepcast and our various podcasts. And thanks for listening.